Number 10, the last numbered guy we'll get to, is Rhamondre Stevenson. And I got to say, a year ago, I would not have guessed that he would be among this group of players that we're talking about, top 10 dynasty running backs in PPR. But now that I actually think about it and spend some time with it, I probably have not been giving Rhamondre Stevenson enough credit this offseason, at least from a redraft standpoint. And, also from Dynasty. I do think last year, playing in a horrible offense and having Damian Harris miss a fair amount of time with injuries definitely helped Rhamondre Stevenson get all those targets that he got. But I think that you can also get into serious trouble with fantasy projections when you start making excuses for why a guy got high target shares and why he won't get them this coming year. Plenty of us did that with Amon-Ra St. Brown a year ago. When you say, yeah, but this stretch, this is what happened. Yeah, but he was still the guy that got all those targets. So Stevenson was the guy that got all those targets for that garbage Patriots offense last year. He also led all running backs in yards after contact per attempt last year. So he was a very good runner. He was an effective receiver, and they didn't really bring in a whole lot of competition unless you think that James Robinson is about to resurge. So Herms, where are you at on Rhamondre Stevenson, our number 10 running back?
Since 2017, this dude is the only Patriots running back who has led the team in carries and target share, because we always talk about the fact that Bill Belichick loves his committees. It's so bizarre to see a guy like Stevenson be that guy, because honestly, when he was coming out of college, I liked him a ton. I thought he was a fairly capable pass catcher. I didn't know he'd be this good at it. So he's even, exceeding my expectations. But the other part of it is the last time that the Patriots had a guy lead the backfield in rushing yards 3 years in a row was Corey Dillon, between when I was in checks notes, 4th grade and 6th grade. Mind you, everybody, that I am almost 28 years old at this point. So that is how long it's been. So, but there's still 2 years left on Rhamondre Stevenson's rookie deal. That's the really interesting thing about it. On top of the fact that he got all of that, receiving work like we've been talking about, on top of the fact that he's carrying the ball a ton, is he might be the dude. I'm skeptical because Bill Belichick is still Bill Belichick. They didn't invest a ton, to your point, because on top of James Robinson, they drafted rookie Pierre Strong last year. I think they had, I think his name's Kevin Harris. I don't know. They're okay players, but nothing that's really going to terrify anybody. So do we have faith in Rhamondre being super good, or do we have faith that Bill Belichick's going to do something really annoying after this year and bring in somebody that we hate and screw everything up? I don't know.
Now, I want to get back to a strategy point from our Dynasty Strategies article in the DS University section on DraftSharks.com. Don't overrate the current situation. And we've talked about it a few times here, and I think it applies for Rhamondre Stevenson as well. Now, last year, he got a lot more work, especially on the target front, than any of us would have guessed heading in. I think that he seems to be in line for something similar this year. We'll see what Ty Montgomery does. We'll see if Pierre Strong is going to do anything. It certainly looks like Rhamondre Stevenson is in about as good a position for leading in carries and targets as just about any running back in the league. Now, I think the thing to keep in mind from what you were just saying, Herms, about the history of the Patriots is not necessarily that we should expect it to go back to what it's been this year, but this is also just one more snapshot. By 2024, we have no idea what else they might have added. The way that Bill Belichick operates, he's probably not envisioning Rhamondre Stevenson as his workhorse for the next 5 years. He's probably the best option right now, and they're going to keep trying to add options to see what other guys can turn into. I mean, Rhamondre Stevenson was a day 3 pick. They didn't bring him in saying he's definitely going to be the answer. They didn't bring Tom Brady in saying he's definitely going to be the answer. It's about taking these shots. It's about turning guys into what they can become. So don't overrate the current situation on Rhamondre Stevenson. I've been underrating it a little bit. I think he's in really good shape for this year. I would still be willing to sell him in the right opportunity because I don't expect that he's going to be a multi-year workhorse in this spot. On the other side, Hermsy, who are you selling? Who do you not like as much among dynasty running backs as others? Could be somebody we already talked about. Could be somebody we haven't gotten to yet.
It's the Rhamondre Stevenson thing. I'm going to be honest. for all of the reasons that we talked about before. Like, all of the pieces are in place for things to be perfect for him again in 2023. I am not super comfortable about just anticipating that that's going to continue to be true as time evolves into 24 and 25. And I know I said earlier, like, Stevenson still has, 2 remaining years on his rookie deal, like, which is great. But look at how often the Patriots sign running backs to extensions. Ha ha, trick. They don't ever do that. Ha ha ha. That's the point. I don't know what Rhamondre Stevenson's value is going to be after this. Like, I felt really good about Damian Harris once upon a time. Now, granted, I mean, I believe Rhamondre is better than Damian Harris, but just as a recent example, like, he was really good. He scored a bunch of touchdowns. We were like, Damian Harris, blah, blah, blah. And then they don't bring him back. They give the job to someone else. And then, like, I mean, Buffalo's a great landing spot, don't get me wrong, but, like, he's nowhere near the value that he used to be. And this is just a more heightened version of that example. Like, would I bet on the talents of Rhamondre Stevenson, especially a guy that big? Like, sure, of course I would. But I have no faith in what's going to happen to his career after next season. Not this upcoming one, but after the next season. Like, if you're hyper competitive right now, hold on to him, whatever. Don't even worry about it. Blah. But if you're maybe not in that window, like, this is a dude that, like, you could, approach another manager in your league and be like, look, man, I got like 2 years of guaranteed awesomeness. What can you give me for that? It wouldn't be that unreasonable to cash out now. It really wouldn't, especially for all the reasons that we talked about before. I think that Rhamondre, like, love him, but there's plenty of reason to get out now.
I think the factor that we haven't really addressed here on trades so far is that you can't just trade guys that don't have any value left. You have to trade some valuable players at some point if you want to get something of value in return. So I agree that Stevenson is a guy with enough questions to him that it's an okay guy to move on to look for value. Not somebody that you need to get out from under, but somebody that can get you some reasonable value. And, if you use it to upgrade a wide receiver, maybe value that you can tap into for a longer window beyond that.